Do you know what, right? The last few days, nothing is going right in my life. Like, nothing. I'm absolutely sick to death of everything. Like, Delilah has just been an absolute nightmare. Like, I can't leave the room without her having meltdowns. I'm literally just gonna sit there. Every time I move, she starts screaming, crying. I just got no life. I'm just, everything in my life is just going wrong. Like, I know it seems minute to some, but like, I can't sign into my Vinted. Like, that has just sent me over the fucking edge. And I tried changing my password and it's not working. I can't download anything on my phone because I got no storage, even though I've just paid fucking $8.99 for 2 terabytes of data, and I still can't download anything. So when is my good luck going to come? When is it going to be my turn? And I'm just sick of it, and I'm sorry for crying, but I've got nobody to rant to, so I'm ranting to you guys. So I'm off to sleep now. I'm going to the gym tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be a better day.
Things you own end up owning you. You know what a duvet is? Comfort. It's a blanket. Just a blanket. Now, why do guys like you and I know what a duvet is? Is this essential to our survival in the hunter-gatherer sense of the word? No. What are we then?
Consumers.
Right. We are consumers. We are byproducts of a lifestyle obsession. Murder, crime, poverty, these things don't concern me. What concerns me are celebrity magazines, television with 500 channels, some guy's name on my underwear, Rogaine, Viagra.
Let me say something that nobody wants to admit out loud. Being a good person in a corrupted system doesn't make you noble. It makes you expendable. Because this world doesn't reward integrity. It doesn't reward loyalty, and it doesn't reward restraint. It rewards visibility, outrage, indulgence, and performance. We were raised on lies. We were told that if you work hard, stay honest, treat people well, and follow the rules, life will meet you halfway. That decency compounds. That kindness returns. That doing the right thing eventually pays off. But that story only works in a world that actually values truth. And this world doesn't. This world values narrative. It values branding. It values whatever keeps people distracted, divided, emotional, and consuming. Look around. The loudest voices aren't the wisest. The most celebrated people aren't the most disciplined. The most protected people aren't the most responsible. They are the most useful to the story. We live in a culture where being stable is boring. Being quiet is invisible. And being consistent is suspicious. But being controversial, that gets rewarded. Being extreme, that gets clicks. Being unpredictable, that gets headlines. And if you are just good, you are background noise. You are the guy who does the right thing while everyone else gets famous for doing the wrong thing with confidence. You are the woman who builds something quietly while someone else goes viral for tearing something down. You are the worker who carries the weight while the loudest person in the room takes the credit. Good people don't get rewarded in evil systems. They get used, and then they get replaced. Now let's talk about the fake part. Because modern society is one giant performance. Everyone is selling an identity. Everyone is branding a personality. Everyone is curating a storyline. Nobody is trying to be real. They are trying to be seen. And the media? The media doesn't reflect culture anymore. It engineers it. It doesn't ask what makes people stronger. It asks what makes people react. It doesn't promote discipline. It promotes disruption. It doesn't elevate character. It elevates chaos wrapped in confidence. You'll notice something if you pay attention. Normal isn't celebrated. Stability isn't celebrated. Quiet strength isn't celebrated. But every time a celebrity rebrands their identity, their orientation, their personality, their belief system, or their image, it's treated like a heroic evolution. Not because it's brave, but because it's marketable. When someone like Ariana Grande comes out as a pansexual, the media doesn't frame it as a personal detail. They frame it as a cultural movement. They frame it as a cultural moment, a statement, a victory, a signal to millions of impressionable young people that identity itself is something you should constantly reinvent for validation. Just a way that the machine turns personal identity into a product launch. Because the message isn't be yourself. The message is yourself is never enough unless it changes in a way we can sell. And young people absorb that. They grow up thinking stability is stagnation, that consistency is repression, that boundaries are fear, that discipline is oppression. They are taught to chase expression instead of structure, feeling instead of responsibility, identity instead of character. And then everyone wonders why anxiety is exploding, why depression is normalized, why nobody knows who they are anymore. Because when a culture teaches you to constantly redefine yourself, you never get to build yourself. Quick heads up before we keep going. I've got a Facebook page where I post a lot more of this stuff. It's not a business page, it's not monetized, and it's not a brand. It's a non-profit page. I run it purely because I think these conversations actually matter. No sponsors, no ads, no fake positivity, just raw clips, thoughts, arguments, humour, and uncomfortable topics people avoid. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not pushing an agenda. It's just a place for people who still like thinking, questioning, disagreeing, and laughing without everything being cleaned up for algorithms. If you agree with me, disagree with me, or just want somewhere that isn't filtered to death, the link's there. You'll usually see stuff there before it ever hits YouTube. Alright, back to the video. Now bring it back to being good. Being good means saying no when it's easier to say yes. Being good means being loyal when betrayal would be rewarded. Being good means staying disciplined when indulgence is celebrated. Being good means holding standards in a world that profits from lowering them. And what happens? You get called boring, rigid, judgmental, outdated. Because goodness threatens a system built on impulse. A disciplined man makes indulgent men uncomfortable. A principled woman makes chaotic women feel exposed. A person with boundaries makes boundaryless people feel judged just by existing. So instead of aspiring to goodness, society tries to shame it. Because if goodness became cool again, half the industries would collapse. Think about it. If people valued loyalty, hookup culture would lose power. If people valued discipline, addiction marketing would suffer. If people valued responsibility, victimhood narratives would weaken. If people valued truth, propaganda wouldn't survive. So goodness isn't just ignored. It's quietly attacked. And here's the brutal part nobody tells you. Being good doesn't protect you. It doesn't stop people from exploiting you. It doesn't stop people from lying about you. It doesn't stop people from replacing you. It only guarantees one thing, that you will suffer quietly while others profit loudly. And after a while, even good people start to crack. They start asking why they are the ones holding the line while everyone else is crossing it and getting rewarded. They start wondering why they are loyal in a world that treats loyalty as weakness. They start wondering why they are honest in a world that runs on manipulation. And this is where many people either break or they harden. They stop being good, not because they want to be evil, but because they are tired of bleeding for a system that laughs at their wounds. So they become colder, sharper, more self-focused, more guarded, not cruel, just done. And society calls that toxic. But it never calls the system that created it toxic. Here's the truth. Goodness in an evil world doesn't get you nowhere because goodness is wrong. It gets you nowhere because evil systems can't afford people who can't be controlled by incentives. A good person can't be bribed easily. They can't be manipulated with trends. They can't be reprogrammed with applause. So they are sidelined, ignored, mocked, until they either disappear or stop caring. And that's the real tragedy. Not that evil wins, but that goodness gets tired. Now let me say this clearly. This isn't a call to become evil. It's a call to become dangerous with your goodness. To stop being naive. To stop expecting fairness from an unfair system. To stop waiting for applause. To stop confusing virtue with weakness. You don't survive by being soft. You survive by being disciplined, aware, controlled, and selective. You don't give goodness to the world. You give it to those who earn access to it. Because goodness without boundaries is just self-destruction with a moral badge. And if you're listening to this, and you've ever felt like the world keeps rewarding the worst behaviour while punishing the best intentions, you are not crazy. You are just awake in a system that runs better when you are asleep. And that's why being good in an evil world gets you nowhere. Unless you learn to be good without being weak. Unless you learn to stand without begging. Unless you learn to walk alone without needing validation. Because in a world built on performance, the most dangerous thing you can be is real. If this made you uncomfortable, good. That means you are still capable of thinking. If this made you angry, even better. That means something inside you isn't numb yet. And if this made you feel seen, then you already know the truth most people are too afraid to say out loud. This world doesn't reward goodness. It rewards obedience, noise, and performance. So if you are tired of pretending, if you are tired of watching weak systems punish strong character, if you are tired of being told lies with a smile, then stay here. Subscribe. Not because I'll tell you what to think, but because I'll never lie to you about what's happening. This channel isn't about comfort. It's about clarity. And clarity is the only weapon left in a world that profits from confusion.